What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got so much to talk about today. We've got nearly a 50-minute episode of breaking down everything that's going on in the market right now. It seems like the market is just moving so fast. It's so hard to keep up with all of the news. We're talking destined rivals, our predictions on what's happening with price with Journey Together, Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade, Paldea Evolved, all the ultra modern. We're going to look back at Sword and Shield. There's some sets that are great investments right now that are really shooting up in price. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. We need to start off by talking about Journey Together. Journey Together obviously has been out for a little while now, and we've been able to see how the market is responding to it. It's difficult to say how it's going to do long term. I think that it's a fairly decent set, but we have been calling that it is a terrible time to be buying for it. The prices are just so inflated at the moment due to market conditions and there not being enough supply around, that we really can't get a gauge of how it's going to do long term. We've been calling that Journey Together is going to start crashing, and a lot of other ultra modern is going to start crashing once the Pokemon company manages to get its logistics together and actually starts managing to pump out more product. They've actively said that they are going to do more reprints. We don't know those numbers. We don't know exactly how many of each set is going to be reprinted. But with Journey Together being such a new set, we can be pretty confident that it's going to get some pretty heavy reprints. You've got to bear in mind that it's going to be within its print window for probably at least another 2 years, about 24 months at least. It may be that they'll print it after that as well, and that is a lot of time for them to get themselves together and actually really heavily print this set. So we've been calling that prices are going to crash on it basically ever since the peak. So the peak happened here at around about the end of March at around about $275 a booster box, which is absolutely crazy for a brand new set that we know for a fact is going to have more print windows. We were calling the decline in price. We obviously saw that last week, and it sort of dropped down to around about the 250, 240 mark. And it's just continued. If we go onto the 1 month chart, you can really see it start to plummet down from this peak. I'm calling retail price boxes of Journey Together. I'm calling it now. We're going to see retail price boxes of Journey Together. It's going to sit on shelves and no one is going to touch it. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen in the next month. I'm not going to say that's going to happen in 8 weeks or so. I'm talking a decent amount of time, and I don't think it'll last for too long either. We're talking maybe a 4-week window where they sit on shelves and no one touches them for retail. Might even go to sub-retail. I think that you're going to be able to get Journey Together for MSRP in about, let's say, 6 to 10 months time. At some point during that window, I think we're going to have a few weeks at least where there's plenty of opportunity for everyone to buy into retail price. There's a few reasons why I think that. One, I think that Journey Together is the perfect candidate for them to do heavy reprints on, because it is the newest set now when they are putting in logistics to try and increase printing in the future. Number two, I think it's massively overinflated in price at the moment. A, because it's the newest set out. B, the hit rates are quite good on it, so it makes good content for people to open them as well. It makes you feel good. It's going to become a nostalgic set, because I think a lot of people are opening it now, so they're going to look back on it and really like it. But Journey Together, to me personally, the reason why it's doing so well is because we have no better alternatives at the moment. I think that it's a better set than Surging Sparks. I put them kind of similar in terms of set, but the pull rates are just so much better on Journey Together. There's more supply of it around than Surging Sparks at the moment, just because a lot of Surging Spark got eaten up by these rip and ship businesses, and I think that Surging Sparks is probably going to end up getting less reprints than Journey Together. I think Journey Together is going to get huge reprints, and I think Destined Rivals, the next Team Rocket set, is going to get big reprints as well during its 2-year window. However, Destined Rivals is a completely different ball game. I think Destined Rivals is going to be one of those sets where we never see it for retail price. It's never going to dip back down. I do think Journey Together will continue to dip down though, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time for it to hit retail. It may go up and down a little bit as supply and demand, evens itself out. But I think in the long term, like I say, 6 to 10 months time, I really do think that we're going to see Journey Together for, if not retail, very close to retail. Maybe within $20 of retail. So me personally, holding out on buying Journey Together. What I'd rather do is see how it looks in 6 months' time, 10 months' time. These sets like Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade, I'm investing into these sets. Yes, they are still within their print window, technically, but we've had the time to see how the market responds to it when it's not the newest, hypest set. Right. Let's have a look at last sales then. It's a race to the bottom on Journey Together. Like I said, it's crashing in value at the moment because it was so overinflated. We're seeing prices tumble. Cheapest last sold on eBay US, $191. In the UK, $174 for the non-enhanced, $200 for the enhanced one. If you're not sure what the difference is, the enhanced one has this little red logo here and it comes with an extra promo card inside. That's it. But it does make it a little bit more of a premium product, and there's more assigned value to it. There's more likelihood that these are going to be more desired in the future. Me personally, I tend to stay away from those sort of rare and niche items like your Pokemon Center elite exclusive elite trainer boxes and stuff like that. They are definitely a play and an investment play, but for me, I like to keep things safe and just go for raw pack to cost ratio. The normal booster box is cheaper, you get a better pack to cost ratio. That to me is a safer investment. Let's talk about stock levels then. If you're new to the channel, we compare both US markets and EU markets. Over here in the UK, we can usually draw a lot of similarities between our two markets, and I can give a very unique perspective than anyone else on YouTube because we are looking at Pokemon as an international thing rather than just localized to one area like a lot of these people do. So the US Pokemon Center, you can see here, completely out of stock of everything still. Not a surprise. Really nice to see Destined Rivals up there. I think that you will be very, very lucky if you ever see this in stock on Pokemon Center for you to view. Destined Rivals, I'll talk about it very briefly. I'm going to go in hard into Destined Rivals. I think that out the gate, this is going to be a $300 booster box. I think that we're going to see more than, well, basically 2x on MSRP out of the gate. And it's the first set in basically forever where I think I might be comfortable paying those prices. I might actually buy in for 2x retail at release date. And that's saying something because I think it will be perhaps one of the best performing sets in Scarlet and Violet. I think it's definitely the best set that's going to have come out, and we haven't even seen the full set yet. I'm very confident. There's so much hype behind it. The last time I felt this way about a set, I was queuing up for the launch event for Evolving Skies, and we all know how that turned out. I'm not saying that Destined Rivals will perform as well as Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies is very close to its all-time high, and it's nearly 10x retail. Like, we need to put that into perspective. Even if Destined Rivals does half that, and within 2-3 years it goes to 5x retail, then buying in at 2x retail on release date doesn't seem that bad. Me personally, I'm going to buy in heavy to it, and I'm going to buy in heavy early, which I normally do not do. Like I said, I like to sit and wait and see what a set does for 6 to 10 months, but I'm so confident in Destined Rivals, the new Team Rocket set. It's got so much hype behind it. I will pay well over retail on release to make sure that I get some. UK Pokemon Center went on a bit of a tangent there. 2 booster boxes in stock, Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces. No changes there really. 2-3 weeks ago we did randomly see a little small print wave of Twilight Masquerade booster boxes come onto the market. Not surprised that they didn't last long. They lasted less than 7 days and then they were all swallowed up. It was confirmed that Twilight Masquerade was going to get some reprints, but I really haven't seen that many hit the market, and it's really not affected price. Let's have a look at Surging Sparks then. Surging Sparks is a similar story to Journey Together. It is just tumbling in price. It's a race to the bottom on Surging Sparks. I got a bit of heat over the last couple of weeks for saying that I think that we're going to see Surging Sparks booster boxes for retail in the future. Again, 6 to 10 months time, I think that we're going to see maybe not retail on Surging Sparks, but I think to within $20 of retail. I think that we're going to definitely see a $180 Surging Sparks box, and it just, the fact that I think that, and now we're starting to see prices tumble as well, it's just not worth buying in at $245, $240, $250 here. It's just way too much to pay for a sealed booster box of Ultra Modern for a set that I think is quite overhyped. It's not a bad set. I'm not saying Surging Sparks is a bad set, but it's just not been out long enough for us to know how it's going to do, and we don't know what the reprints are going to be like. It's still so modern that it could just get printed into the ground. We could have another 20 waves of reprints of Surging Sparks. Yes, it's unlikely, but I expect that Surging Sparks is going to get quite heavily reprinted. And as we start to see more Scarlet and Violet sets come out, the later sets such as this next Team Rocket set that's coming out and whatever follows it, I think that a lot of the attention is going to get drawn away from Surging Sparks. And if they continue to print it, we will see prices tumble. So be very cautious about buying into Journey Together or Surging Sparks at the moment. Those are my warnings. Again, bit of a race to the bottom. Look, 250 last sold. I still think that that's way too much to be paying. And in the UK, 181 with no photos. Let's scroll down. Here's one for 200. So 200 to 181 between two sales. So that is basically like a £20 reduction. That's a 10% swing in two sales. Like, it's just way too risky to buy into some of these ultra modern sets at the moment, with the exception of Prismatic Evolutions, and we're going to go into a little bit of detail here. Prismatic Evolutions is slowly reducing down in price a little bit. It did have a crazy inflation in price. If we just zoom out a bit, let's go to 6 months chart. We saw the peak here at around about $150 in the start of January. Then we saw a big price retracement down to around about 110. Then it bounced back up to like 140. Now it's like 130. Look, 124, 130, 130. I really like Prismatic Evolutions, and the reason why I really like Prismatic Evolutions is because there's so much value in the hits still. Even though a lot of product has been opened, the hits are still doing so many numbers. Obviously, you've still got the Umbreon that's, you know, absolute king at the top, crazy price. But if you look at like the top 10 hits or something, let's just do it now. Let's just have a look at the top 10 hits of Prismatic Evolutions, and you just see the value. Look, here we go. Prismatic Evolutions, Pokédata, sorted by most valuable. So we've got the Umbreon here for 1400-ish raw. These are raw prices for you. They're just a rough guide. They're not super accurate. Sylveon is nearly $500. Leafeon is $460. Espeon is $417. Vaporeon is $384. If you hit any one of these cards in your Elite Trainer box, you're laughing. Plus there's God Packs, so you could just hit all of them. I know it's very unlikely, but look, the Flareon is still $350. The Glaceon is over $300. The Jolteon is over $300. The Roaring Moon is over $300 as well. This is absolutely crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The Eevee EX is $230. Absolutely nuts. There's so many hits that will put you into profit if you were to open this. The Ceruledge is $224. The Umbreon Master Ball, like, this is not even bringing in the Master Balls, nearly $200. Dragapult, $180. Raging Bolt, $150. I think that's just an illustration rare as well. Is that illustration or is that SIR? I can't even remember. Palafin, over $100. The Blood Moon Ursaluna, still over $100. Ice Crown EX, $100. Goldingo, $100. And then you have lower hits, but they're still like $85, $80, $77, $75. There's so many hits in this set. And where it is a short printed set or holiday set or special set, whatever you want to call it, there's no booster boxes. So, you know, your best chance at getting it is booster bundles. Booster bundles get bought up instantly for way over retail. You've got the Elite Trainer boxes as well, but you've got no big booster boxes. I think Prismatic Evolutions is going to do really well long term. I've liked Prismatic Evolutions from the start, but I really just wanted to see what the market was going to do. Yes, I think that we're going to get a lot more reprints of Prismatic Evolutions, but I don't think it's going to affect the price that much, guys. I really don't. I think that perhaps it might drop to $100. $100 is still nearly double MSRP. So I think that Prismatic Evolutions, I think that people are sleeping on it a lot. I think that I'm going to increase my supply and my holdings on Prismatic Evolutions a lot over the next 2 years. Over the next 2 years, I'm going to buy quite heavy into Prismatic Evolutions. Probably more so the booster bundles because you get more value on that. But yeah, Prismatic Evolutions, I think, is the one exception to the rule out of the ultra modern, like the last 3-4 sets printed, that I think is worth paying over MSRP. We've seen a little bit of sales data now. Look, we can see it from back in like November time, and it's just been healthy. I know there's not been enough supply around, but it's still up 43%. And we're not near the all-time high as well. So it's got room to grow back to the all-time high. I think that Prismatic Evolutions remains a buy, despite the fact that I think that it's going to get quite heavily reprinted. I think that people are just going to buy up the supply. Last sold in the US, $123. Last sold in the UK, 2 for $200, 108, 2 for $190, 94. Basically £100. £100. Round pound. That's your average. And have a look at last sales on the Umbreon as well. So, or the Sunbreon as people are dubbing it. $1,199, basically $1,200 raw. You got a PSA 9 here going for $1,000. PSA 7 going for $1,000 for some reason. Is that the Japanese? No. Yeah, that is the English. Going for $1,000. I think that's a good deal for that, considering that the 7 just sold for $1,000 as well. PSA 9 for $1,000 is pretty decent when the raw's going for $1,200. Not too bad, not too bad. It is risky spending $1,000 on a slab though, especially when it's still in print. Here you go, PSA 10. Last sold, eBay US, $3,300. Absolutely crazy. Prismatic Evolutions is a bit of a goat set. People are still sleeping on it, I think. I'm going to buy more of it. Yeah, 3k a box. Let's have a look then at some other booster boxes. Evolving Skies, the absolute GOAT set. People, it's not really moved in price over the last 2 months. We're averaging a nice healthy market value of $1,300. We're regularly seeing it sell for $1,300 on TCG Player as an average. So healthy to see a set within striking distance of its all-time high around about that 1400 mark, sitting at 1300, very close to its all-time high. It is the GOAT set. It is the pack leader in the Sword and Shield era. It's just a fantastic set. It has one of the most iconic cards in it from the last 10 years, which is obviously the Umbreon, or the Moonbreon as people dub it. I think that that card is just going to continue to do bits over the next 10 years because it's so iconic and it's so nostalgic and it's so hard to pull from Evolving Skies as well. And you've got to remember, I know I keep saying this every week, but Evolving Skies, there will be no more Evolving Skies. They will not make any more product. It's done. It's gone. And it just keeps getting opened. Every day it gets opened, every day it gets damaged. finding minty boxes of Evolving Skies is just going to become increasingly hard over the next couple of years. I guarantee it. Sales volume will just decrease and decrease and decrease, and the price will shoot up. I mean, if you look back to some of these other sets, some of these later, like, good performing sets from like XY era, Sun and Moon era, we're talking some of these sets are like 3k plus, some of them are like 6k plus. There's no world, I think, where Evolving Skies does not reach those heights and does not become a 5k box. Yeah, it might take 10 years for it to get a 5k box, but I don't think so. I don't think it will. I think in 5 years' time, we'll look at back at Evolving Skies and go, whoa, back in 2025, you could still pick that up for $1,300 a box. Why did people not pick that up? They already knew it was the best set at that time. It was already out of print at that time. I think that Evolving Skies will outperform and outpace every single set in all of the Sword and Shield era, all of the Scarlet and Violet era, and we haven't even seen all of the Scarlet and Violet era, and maybe even the next era too. Evolving Skies is so iconic, it's ridiculous. I can't say it enough. The fact that it's stable right near its all-time high price as well just says to me that it's a safe investment in my eyes. Evolving Skies is the GOAT. It's like nothing else, and I don't think we'll get another set like that for a good amount of time. It depends what Team Rocket does. Team Rocket has the potential to be a really, really great set and to reach the heights of Evolving Skies and to go 10x retail. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I want to say that Team Rocket has the potential to do that, but having the potential to do that and actually doing that are miles apart. Evolving Skies has already done that. It's already proven itself. It's already, what, 9x retail? 8x retail? Something like that. And I just don't see a world where it's ever going to get lower than that. Let's have a look at Last Sold then, because we've ranted on enough about how amazing Evolving Skies is. Everyone knows that already. $1,274. Like I said, around about that $1,300 mark is about average for a nice Evolving Skies right now. In the UK, it's dipped a little bit. Again, we tend to hover around about that £1,000 mark. Last sold on an auction, $950. There you go, $985 with 10 postage, basically $1,000. Just under $1,000. Quite a cheap one here with a case. $924. That's the cheapest I've seen for a little while. Another one going for $920 here. Hey, if you can afford it and you haven't got the GOAT set yet, maybe it's a good play for you. What am I buying right now? This week, just bought another booster box of Fusion Strike because I think that Fusion Strike is about to move. I am calling it now. Okay, I'm putting my neck on the line yet again, like I always do. I'm calling it before everyone else. I think that Fusion Strike is the next set that's going to move. I think that Fusion Strike is going to see a big uptick in price over the next 4 to 6 months. And I think it's going to start soon. I think it's going to start over the next couple of weeks. And that's why I'm buying more of it. Like I said, Fusion Strike booster box on its way to me now. Looks super cheap to me right now. Especially in the UK, considering what the US markets are doing. US markets knocking on the door of that $500 and have been for the last few weeks. Look at this, 463, 469, 3 sold for 494, 485, 564. That's the highest I've ever seen it sell for, 564, and that was 3 days ago. So I think Fusion Strike is going to move up in price. I think that very quickly Fusion Strike is going to jump to a $700 box. And I think that once it does that over the next couple of months, I think the sky's the limit. I think that Evolving Skies is going to start moving up as well. And we're going to start seeing more regular $1,500, $1,600 Evolving Skies boxes. And I think Fusion Strike and Lost Origin are going to start following in its path. And I think, like I said, we're going to pretty soon see a $700 Fusion Strike booster box. I'm very confident in that. I'm calling that out to you now as a prediction. Let me know down below if you think that that's going to come true. I'm putting my money on the line. I'm putting my neck on the line. I'm putting my reputation on the line by calling it as well. Last sold in the US, 480. Like I said, it's always knocking on the door of 500 for a nice minty one. 450, 450. I want to say something as well very quickly. When I was looking through trying to buy one this week, and I was looking through at the cheapest ones on eBay UK, a lot of them were damaged, you know. Like, people were charging like top of market value, and there were rips and tears and, you know, damage to the seal and stuff like that. Like, it was actually pretty hard to buy one within 10% of market value that was actually minty. So that's something to bear in mind as well. I don't think there's actually that many minty boxes out there that people are willing to sell at the current market price. And that is always a really positive sign that the market is about to shoot up in price. Just calling it, telling you guys full transparency what I'm putting my money into right now. I'm putting my money into Fusion Strike, Prismatic, Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade, Crown Zenith. Those are like my top 5 sets that I'm buying at the moment, and I tend to just rotate between them at the moment when I see deals. But this month I thought I would splash out and buy Fusion Strike at the top of the market. It's at all-time highs right now, and I'm still buying into it because I believe in Fusion Strike. I really do. And this is why. Look at this price for the UK. It's absolutely ludicrous right now. 339 last sold, £307 with a little bit of postage. Like, it just makes no sense to me why you wouldn't buy a sealed Fusion Strike for 307 in the UK when the US market is knocking on the door of 500. And I even think that for $500 it's underpriced and it's going to jump to 700. So for me, it's an easy buy. That's what I bought this week. Twilight Masquerade I'm also buying into. The reason why I buy into Twilight Masquerade, look at this. You're like, oh no, but it's dipping in price. Look, it was at an all-time high at the end of February at $232. Look at it now, it's selling for $212. Look, sub 200 a box, $195. PokePond, you're mad. Why are you investing in a box that's doing rubbish and it's reducing down in price? I'll show you why. Let's zoom out. 1 year chart. Sometimes you just got to zoom out, guys. Look at this. Twilight Masquerade is now at a 98.1% profit over the last 12 months. Okay, it has doubled in price over the last 12 months, and we can see the data. This is what I'm talking to you about with buying ultra modern like Surging Sparks and Journey Together. We haven't seen the data. We haven't seen what it does when it's not the newest set out the gate. Okay, Twilight Masquerade has proven itself on the charts. You need to stop trading emotionally. This is how you really get successful at building a sealed collection that's going to increase in value. Okay, you need to stop trading emotionally, and you just need to look at data. You need to look at sets that have a year's worth of good performance, 6 months of good performance. Any set at the middle of a hype cycle of Pokemon can do well out the gate and can go for well over retail, like Journey Together, like Surging Sparks. It's a lot harder for a set like that to have a chart looking like this 12 months time. This to me is just a very clear indication that Twilight Masquerade is a strong buy, and you can still get it for pretty cheap as well. Look, 210 last sold US, but look right here, 174. That is a must read. It's probably damaged. It does look a bit damaged, to be honest. Okay, 204. I think you might see a little reduction in price with Twilight Masquerade. I think you might be able to get it for like 180, 190. I think if you see Twilight Masquerade in the wild for $180, $190, I think it's an instant buy. If you're in the UK, you can buy it for retail right now. Look at this. Last sold, 4th of April, yesterday. Retail price, guys. Retail price for a sealed minty Twilight Masquerade, when look at what it's doing on the US charts. They couldn't give it away back here, back in April when I first started buying into it, when it was sub retail. Look at this, $105 average, $101. It was $100 box. No one was touching Twilight Masquerade, and I don't know why, because it did so well out the gate as well. which no one expected. It did really well out the gate, and then it just sat on shelves. It sat on shelves for $100, $109, and we're up 100% in 12 months. Love Twilight Masquerade. Think it's a great set. Think it's going to do really well. It's one of those modern sets that I'm buying into quite heavy. Let's move on then. Paldea Evolved is the other thing that I'm buying. I'm actively buying booster boxes of Paldea Evolved. The last box I bought was about 2 weeks ago. It's at an all-time high. Let's zoom out on the charts as well. 1 year charts. What's it doing, guys? It's up 110% over the last 12 months, and it's at an all-time high. Okay, I get some pretty interesting comments on my videos, and you can tell that you can't read too much into individuals' comments because you don't know how long they've been in the market. You don't know if they're trading emotionally, etc. But I had an interesting person comment on one of my videos the other day and said that I was mad to buy into Paldea Evolved now, and it's going to crash in value, it's a rubbish set, and that I should buy into Surging Sparks instead. Okay, Paldea Evolved is at that 2 year window now where it's pretty much out of print. They have said there's going to be more reprints of them. Sorry about the motorbike noise in the background. That's just the UK for you. You just have young people and criminals whizzing around on motorbikes. Anyway, Paldea Evolved, nearly out of print. They have said it's going to get reprinted. I don't think they're going to print much of it. I don't think it's going to make much difference in the price. We can see a year's worth of really good data here where it's gone from sub-retail and it's just continued to climb up in price. That's a really positive sign. I think that Paldea Evolved is a great set. Out the gate, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. Didn't like the set, but I don't trade emotionally. I waited to buy into it. I waited 6 months, 8 months, a year to see this data. It changed my opinion. The data will always change my opinion. Very well received by the market. Nearly out of print. Get yourself a deal on Paldea Evolved. I don't see a world where it doesn't continue to rise up in price. Compared to the other guy's suggestion of Surging Sparks, what are we doing on the chart here, guys? What are we doing? 1 month chart, down 5.6%. And it's got a lot of room to fall as well. What's going to get more reprints? Surging Sparks or Paldea Evolved? To me, it's just simple, but I don't know. Some people trade on emotion and they get upset with my videos when I say that a set that they like and they're emotionally attached to, when I say it's going to drop to retail, they take that personally. But I do think you're going to see Surging Sparks close to retail, and I think that we'll see a situation where we're probably going to see Journey Together for retail at some point over the next year. Let's have a look at last sales then. Paldea Evolved last sold $227. Like I said, all-time highs. I've never seen Paldea Evolved go for that price. And that's after they've announced reprints. It's like clearly not affecting the market one bit. People are like, buy, 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 nearly out of print. I think it's just going to continue to go and pump up in price. Last sold in the UK, £188. I paid similar to this about a month ago. I paid similar prices. You can get some deals though, 177, 170 there from 3 days ago on April the 2nd. You can get some deals. Average price around about 175. I bought in for more than that. I think I paid about 182 just for full transparency. But I'm happy to pay that because it's just going up and up, and I think it's just going to continue. Crown Zenith is the other set I'm buying into at the moment. I say this every single week. Every single week we look, it's at a new all-time high. I don't understand why so many people, I'm getting frustrated with this, are saying that there's nothing to buy and that you shouldn't buy in a hype cycle and everything's way overpriced. Yeah, ultra modern, ultra modern. Your Surging Sparks, your Journey Together is overpriced for what it is. Crown Zenith is out of print. Something that I really need to say as well, that if you're not aware of, the official game, so the trading card game, has now 100% rotated all of Sword and Shield out of competitive play. You can no longer legally play any Sword and Shield cards in competitive play. That is huge news for those of you who don't know about sealed product. The likelihood of any reprints of an era that's out of competitive rotation is so low. The chance of it getting reprinted is so low once it goes out of rotation. That's almost a confirmation. That is a 99% sure that Sword and Shield won't get reprinted at all again. Crown Zenith, shooting up in price. It's a speciality set. There's no booster boxes of it. There are booster bundles of it, but they're quite hard to find in the wild for a decent price. The Elite Trainer box is the bread and butter. It's very iconic. It looks very nice. We've got a few behind us there. I'd love to buy some more Crown Zenith. I will buy some more Crown Zenith. Because look, week on week on week. Even when I called it last week. Last week it was at what? 124 on the average. Last sale's 140. 9 sold. Not just one sale there. 9 sold for 140. 140. 140. Every week it just keeps jumping up and jumping up in price. They're not making any more of it. It's a brilliant set. The hits are doing really well in price as well. There's lots of hits, lots of value. It's one of those sets that's fun to open as well. It's so iconic. I think Crown Zenith, you're like, oh, but I've missed the boat. It's $140 now. Look, it's gone up 75% in the last 3 months. It's like, no, you haven't missed the boat. What do you think is going to happen to this chart? Do you think it's just going to get to $140 and then just flatline for the rest of time? No. I really don't think that will happen. There's no reason why Crown Zenith won't just continue to creep up in price. I think Crown Zenith is one of the safest places to put your money right now. And where it's not a booster box as well, it's not too bad of a price to buy into it. $140. Let's have a look at last solds. 130. 135, 130, 130. A couple of weeks ago, this was 100. This was 110. I remember people saying, this was less than 2 months ago, I watched a Pokemon investment YouTuber from the US say, I will not buy in to Crown Zenith because it is $100 a box. I refuse to pay $100 a box for Crown Zenith. You've missed the boat on that. What's the price now 2 months later? 130, 135. Honestly, guys, with all of these videos, mine included as well, don't just listen to what we say. Trade on your gut, but just try and not trade emotionally at the same time. Try and look at data. This is why I make these videos. These videos are for educational purposes for you. I've been doing this a very long time. I've been nearly doing this a decade of investing into sealed product. Nearly 10 years we're coming up to. It's crazy that Evolutions is nearly 10 years old. That's kind of crazy. End of XY era is when I started really starting to buy sealed product. The reason why I make these videos is so I can impart knowledge onto you. I've been doing this a long time. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. Okay, I'm not acting like I haven't. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I've made a lot of good deals along the way as well. And I've made a lot of wealth along the way too. And if I can help people by showing them what I'm buying and what I'm thinking, great. But don't just take my word for it. Just use this to help shape your own opinion so that you can do your own analysis on this kind of thing. This is what I'm teaching you guys to do so that you don't have to always pay attention to the markets. You can just tune in once a week. I'll tell you what's going on with the markets. Because it's a lot to keep up with. It really is. I have to talk for nearly an hour every week just to tell you guys what's been going on in the last 7 days. The market moves so quick. It's crazy. Last sold in the UK, 146, right? Those 2 boxes that I bought behind me for a couple of months ago, about 2 months ago, I bought for 115. Now they're already nearly 150. Look. 155. I've never even seen a sale that big. That is breaking all-time highs. £155. That's like $170, $175, something like that. That is ludicrous price. It's just pumping and pumping. Let's quickly talk about some of the other booster boxes that I think are going to do well then over the next year. Lost Origin, I think, is in a great position. Like with Fusion Strike, I was weighing up what to buy, Fusion Strike or Lost Origin this week. I bought Fusion Strike just because I personally prefer it. I love the Gengar in that set, and I love the Sleepy Espeon. I do like the Giratina in Lost Origin as well. It was a very close decision for me to decide what to buy, one or the other. I'm probably going to buy a Lost Origin either next week or maybe next payday. Pretty even. I think they're both going to have a really, really good next 12 months. And we're just hovering at all-time highs. We're literally just chilling right on the all-time high. All-time high average there, £395 or $395. Last sold $384. So we're talking about $10 away from the all-time high and staying there stable for a couple of weeks. Really positive to see. Got a lot of room to grow, I think. Astral Radiance, same thing, sat at an all-time high. You might look at this chart and be like, oh, it's dipping in value, PokePond. It's really not. Once you zoom out a year, you're at all-time high. Okay? Last sold 270, 270, 274. Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest. Those three sets, I've started saying this every week, are all going to sit at $300 for quite a while. Okay? They have to, because $300 is a very psychological barrier for it to break through. They will all bounce around a little bit over, a little bit under, a little bit over, a little bit under $300 for a little while. This is your opportunity to buy into those sets now. These are out of print Sword and Shield sets that will do very well long term. They will sit at $300. You have time to save up. You have time to buy these. If you can buy these sets for sub $300, I think you'll do well, because I think they'll chill at $300 for a good little while, and then once they start to break, and they will break, it may take 6 months, it may take 12 months. I don't think it will take 12 months. I think within 6 months they'll all start breaking, and then they'll start to go 350, 400. And then they'll start bouncing on the 400, trying to break that mark. I'm very confident Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest and Brilliant Stars will sit at 300 for a little while, and then will start to pump on the climb up to 400, then we'll sit at 400. Last sold in the US is $250. Last sold in the UK, look at this, 209. That's an import, actually. Look, £200. £200 for Astral Radiance sealed. Nice minty one by the looks. Sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, $300 for Astral Radiance. It's going to get there very soon, and then it's going to bounce around that mark. Yeah, look, it's $30 off at the moment. There's a sale that was $20 off. It's climbing up to that 300 mark, and then it's going to get stuck on it. That's what I think. Silver Tempest is exactly the same. Look, 275, 275, 271, 280. Again, within that $20 range. And look, you can actually see what I've said here with Silver Tempest. It climbed up in price. It got close to that 300 range. It went to 274 on the average. And you've got to remember, with averages, that meant that it probably went a little bit over. So it probably went to about 280. And then it dipped down a little bit to 270. And then it will go back up, 275, 280. And they're just going to hover around that 300 mark for a good little while. Brilliant Stars is exactly the same. Look, 289, 289, 289. There it is. 300 doesn't go past 300. Back to 265. 289, 300. 285, 288, 284, 300. Do you see what I mean? It's just bouncing off that 300. It is a resistance level. Look at this. 1 month chart. Let's see. So it went up 296, basically 300. Then it went up to 298, 300. Bounced off of it. Bounced back down to 290. It's going to keep doing that. Silver Tempest will be the same. Astral Radiance will be the same. They will break, though. They will break, I think, within the next 6 months. Could take a year, though. Could take between 6 and 12 months. I think that once they start moving, they're going to start shooting up to the 400 range by the end of the year. Chillin' Rain, again, exact same boat, really. That is a weird sale for like 400. I don't believe that. So here you go. 329, 327, 340, 326. So Chillin' Rain's in a unique perspective where it shot through the 300 barrier. It went up in January to around about 340. And now it's retraced down to around about 310. Last sales for 330, 340, 330. So I think with Chillin' Rain, this really sort of demonstrates what will eventually happen with Silver Tempest and Brilliant Stars once they shoot through the 300, because you can see this. You can see when it shoots through the 300 here, it goes right up to 340, and then it retraces down in price a little bit, but it never goes back below 300. Once that 300 barrier is broken, then people are happy to pay 320. And what will happen is that will just continue to step up. And I think we're going to see the exact same thing with Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest and Astral Radiance. I think that once they break 300, they'll shoot up to around about 330, 340, and then we'll just see a reduction in price, and they'll stabilize around 310, 320, and then that'll be the new bottom price. Let's finish up with a little segment that I've started doing more recently, where I point out a play to you that I think is a bit of a niche play, but I always point out any plays to you. I'm tempted to buy one myself more as like a collection point of view. I'm going to talk about the Charizard Ultra Premium collection. Had a lot of hype on release and was going for well over retail, and then was available, there was loads of it available for pretty cheap, basically retail price, sat on shelves for a long time, a good few months, and it's really starting to move up in price now. And you look at the 1 month chart and you go, PokePond, that doesn't look like it's moving up in price. It's down nearly 2% in the last month. Alright, let's zoom out. What does a 1 year chart look like? So we've gone from sub-retail. People couldn't sell them here last year for $113. Now it's regularly trading for $270, $270, $273. The reason why this is such a good buy is A, the promo cards are amazing. I love the promo cards. I've bought them all separately. My favourite is the Sleepy Charizard who's accidentally burnt down the forest behind him. Promo cards are continuing to rise up in price. They're getting opened all the time. The thing that really makes the Charizard Ultra Premium collection a good investment long term is that it's not tied to one set. Okay, I don't know if you guys are aware or not, you probably are, but you get a lot of booster packs in the Ultra Premium collection, and you get a whole range of packs as well. You get Evolving Skies in there, you get Fusion Strike in there, you get Astral Radiance in there. So as those sets, those Sword and Shield sets start to rise up in price, the value that you get from opening these just gets more and more and more. So that encourages more people to open them to get the packs inside, which pushes the price up, which in turn makes it more valuable again, because then there's less supply of them available, and the actual collector's piece and the promos get rarer to find because people are opening them to get the packs. Do you see what I mean? It sort of feeds into itself. It is a very interesting play. I think that it's a cool product. I think that it displays quite well as well, and although people open them and see the value behind it in the packs and the promos, it's not all about that. I think these are going to be pretty hard to find sealed in 3 years' time, because everyone's going to open them to get the Evolving Skies and the Fusion Strike out of them and the Lost Origin. I think that as a collector's piece on its own, I think that this will do really well. And it's held up by the contents inside. 137% increase in price over the last 12 months. Really, really positive. I think that it's going to do great long term. Definitely a bit more of a niche play, but it is a play nonetheless. I will always point out plays to you when I see them. I'm always going to keep you updated on the markets, everything that's going on with Sealed as well. That's why you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode and you all have a wonderful day. Peace.